welcome back into the Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 FM or online at WEGLFM.com. You can also catch us on our SoundCloud and iTunes page at WEGL 91.1. If you want to catch us and our beautiful faces and Georgia Tech hats, you can catch us on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6, or at eagleeyeauburn.com. See, there we go. We got everything in.
All shameless plugs, promotions. Do you want to extend the podcast time out, or is that next break?
I don't even say it anymore because I have no idea when the podcast goes up. Because it goes up same day.
Every week we've started out, just to point out to people who haven't, paid attention, like most of our audience probably. We're background noise in like a dentist office or something. You started out with like 10 minutes after the show, it's going to be up. And then it's progressively gotten longer.
We were good at that last year when we didn't have to worry about the TV side, but we had to get all the clips together, and it's a whole mess. And I'm not gonna bore anybody with that kind of information, but you can catch us on SoundCloud and on TV. So hey, look, the way I see it, it's a win-win for whoever decides to take a look at us. Isn't that right, Brooks?
Sure, why not? I don't know what you were saying. I had to be intern.
Yeah, we really need an intern. Was that somebody bringing in the application?
Maybe. We've got a caller.
All right. Well, let's put him on.
We've got Chris from Auburn on the line once again this week. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing, Chris?
I can't complain, guys. Listen, I really value your opinion, but I was just confused this entire weekend. So let me talk to you, all right?
Well, Chris, the first thing is that, to open the Tide Pod, you have to, undo the zip now because I have a little childproof thing on it. You have to, push down and...
No.
Yeah, hold on. I don't think... that's a different show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's Martha Stewart.
What happened last Thursday? I mean, at the trade deadline, it felt like the Cleveland Cavaliers just said goodbye to everybody.
It's almost like Kentucky's sophomore day or senior day, whatever they may call it, when all the one and dones leave.
I don't think Duke, North Carolina, well, maybe North Carolina, but Kentucky, all the Blue Bloods, they don't have a senior day.
Do you think they got better?
The Cavs?
The Cavs?
I think they got better, but
they got younger.
I don't think it's gonna matter in the long run because they're not gonna beat Golden State, nor did I think they can beat Houston. And
Now,
I don't know if they can still beat. It's ironic. I say I don't know if they can still beat Boston, even though they ran them over.
Okay,
the
that's
other
what I
night.
was going to ask you. Have they played a game together yet?
Yes, they have played a game together. They played
not fully together though. They haven't gotten that starting lineup down yet, but they still beat Boston with some of their new pieces in there on Sunday by a decent margin.
And one of those key pieces, Cedi Osman.
He's not a key. Oh my gosh.
He's gonna be a Cav also.
Good at basketball still.
I think he's okay.
Look. Everybody keeps talking about Isaiah Thomas and he's not gonna be that same IT from last year in the playoffs. It's gonna be fine. He's coming back from a hip injury. Yes, sure, he's not doing shooting well. He came off the bench for the Lakers against the Mavericks. Did well, put up 22 points. I mean, sure, he may have had a couple of plays where he wasn't looking the same. But he was playing with the new team, so you got to give him a pass. Look, Isaiah Thomas is going to be fine. I don't know if he stays with the Lakers. I got to assume that the Lakers will probably let him walk because they really want to free up that cap space to go after some big stars. Or maybe, Isaiah Thomas does come back around, and you know what? He's worth the investment. But Isaiah Thomas will be back. He's going to be a good player. And you just got to give him time. Like when Gordon Hayward comes back, it's not going to be the same Gordon Hayward. He's going to have to get in there a little bit and kind of work at it. So just give Isaiah Thomas some time.
What about Dwayne Wade? Is his career done?
I think he's going to play for a year, maybe 2-3 more years down in Miami.
He's 36.
I think he'll be fine. He'll play 2 or 3 more years, and then he'll be retire in Miami. I think he's where he's going to retire.
The Cavs sent Dwayne Wade to Miami along with a nice little folding chair, and he's going to pull up on a hill. And the Suns
folding chair?
Yes, it's folding chair. It's the Cavs, okay?
You couldn't give him a rocking chair?
No, that's what LeBron's contract took too much. The sun is setting on Dwayne Wade, and he knows that. And it's good for it to end in Miami. So
Okay,
when he does retire, I hope Chris Bosh is there with him.
Well, who won the trade deadline? Who won?
Who won the trade deadline?
I will have to say,
If I'm being biased, the Mavericks could that Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott.
I want to say, I think having all the moves, I think the Cavs won because they got younger. I think before this, I don't think they could beat the Celtics in a 7-game series, even with LeBron James. But now that they've gotten younger, I think they have a chance to beat the Celtics. They're not going to beat Golden State, I don't think, but I think they'll get back to the finals now with all these changes. So I'd have to say Cleveland, especially because they unloaded a subpar Isaiah Thomas
and Shumpert.
Let me go ahead and tell you who won the deadline. All right.
All right, Chris. Who won the deadline?
Wait. Is it the fans?
And no. Let me tell you who won the trade deadline, and then I want to hear what you guys have to say. Okay.
All right.
And I'll hang up and listen on this, okay? But I think, and this trade happened well before the deadline actually on the day, but I want to hear your thoughts on the Pistons getting Blake Griffin because they've only lost one game since they got him.
It's a good trade for the Pistons. Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin. I mean, I keep trying to make this comparison, but it's not a very good comparison. The bad boy Pistons. But I don't know. We still got to see how it works out, especially for Blake Griffin, because we know he does suffer from a good bit of injuries. So, like, what good is Blake Griffin going to do if he goes down? Thanks, Chris. What good is Blake Griffin going to do when he goes down and he's gone for, 20 to 25 games? Then at that point, is it still a good trade? No, the Pistons, I mean, they're making a run. I'm going to pull up the NBA standings right quick because the Pistons are sitting in a nice, the Pistons at. There they are.
Good job.
So, I had to remember where the Pistons are at. I mean, the Pistons,
Eastern Conference.
They're sitting in a nice spot. They're 9th. All right, so they're 3 games. Outside. They're 3 games behind the Heat for the 8th seed. 3 games behind the Heat and the Sixers for the 8th seed. They're 27 and 29. And I mean, the Pistons they're doing their best trying to make that run. I mean, it's a 9-man race in the East right now because I don't see the Hornets, who are right behind the Pistons. I don't see them making a run. They're just not built for that.
I think it's a good move for Detroit getting Blake Griffin, although he has been known to have locker room problems. So if they can keep him his off the court antics under control, and if they get him, 1 or 2 pieces that are not necessarily superstars, but someone that he can work with, I think it'll make this trade much more viable and much more, beneficial in the Pistons' eyes to make a run into the playoffs in future years and maybe to the Eastern Conference Finals, but that's a long way off.
I want to go ahead and apologize. I keep talking about the Cavs and Celtics like it's a 2-person race in the East. Toronto is first in the East, and we have to give them a little bit of love because they're playing well. They won 5 in a row. They're 8 for the last 10 games, and the Raptors are doing good things. The Wizards are only a game and a half behind the Cavs too. The Cavs can easily fall back to. Honestly, if the Cavs had gone a 3-game losing streak, they could easily fall back to 6.
But you see, the thing about it is now that the trade deadline's passed, Cavs made moves. LeBron's interested again.
He's interested,
and so they've been losing. I think they got LeBron is like, okay, now we can do something, and now he's going to start being LeBron, leading the team. All the young guys are going to help him to get back to the finals. He may, I don't think he's going to catch Boston or Toronto, but I think, they'll get back as like a 3 seed and then make it to the finals.
And over in the Western Conference, because, we got to touch on the Western Conference, Golden State is your number 1 team, but a game behind them and trying to scrap their way there on an 8-game winning streak, winning 9 of the last 10, are the Houston Rockets. And then after that, the San Antonio Spurs and the Minnesota Timberwolves round out your top 4. A big surprise, the Denver Nuggets are 7th in the West, followed by the New Orleans Pelicans.
You know what is really surprising to me?
What?
The Spurs are 3rd in the West.
But they're 9.5 games back?
They have not been, but like they're third in the West. If you told me, if you said, here's the Spurs' performance this year.
Yeah.
And I looked at their performance. I've watched their performances a lot. A lot of them. I've watched. I've read the box score for them. I have Spurs updates set on my phone for at least a few more weeks till the playoffs start. If you told me the Spurs are sitting at third, I'm like, you're nuts. They have not been. I don't think they're a third place team in the West. The Spurs have been very inconsistent this year, and I think some of their age is showing.
I think for all intents and purposes, we can go ahead and say that the West is down to the Warriors and Rockets. We can we can go ahead and say
you can say that, but it's never a done deal.
It's never a done deal, but I've never seen two teams dominate. I mean, the way I've seen the Warriors, obviously for the past couple of years, and the Rockets. I mean, the Rockets. There was that one patch where I was like, well, what are they even doing? And then now it's just like, well, I see what they're doing now.
Yeah. I think
James Harden's beard puts up points now.
I mean, didn't it always? It's like a third arm comes out of his beard and lays the ball up.
And gets hand ones.
Yeah. I think that's going to be an interesting, if it comes down to it, which it probably will, that's going to be an interesting Western Conference Finals. It's the Rockets and the Warriors. I think that has, if you're looking at it, you're like Rockets, Warriors, Cavs, Celtics. I think Rockets Warriors has a better chance to go 7 games than the Cavs Celtics.
Probably because
it's two very competitive teams, two teams that love the three. James Harden, Chris Paul are going to fight to the end. Steph and Durant and Clay, they're always going to be great. It's going to go 7 games. I think if LeBron over in the East, him and the Cavs can get start off win the first one or 2 games, I think he'll be fine. He'll be like, all right, so they can win 1 or 2 maybe, but I think Cleveland will be fine.
We didn't even get to talk about the Colts and the Patriots and Josh McDaniels and all that.
It's called a tease.
We
got into the NBA. Chris got us into the NBA.
Chris got us into the NBA, and we couldn't stop. We were going to talk about it anyway, but when we come back from this commercial break, hopefully, unless there's another caller who wants to talk about some sports, or Sprots. We're going to talk about the Colts, the Patriots, Josh McDaniels, and all that nasty mess that's going on in the NFL. If you want to call in and talk to us, you can call in at 334-844-9345. I still want somebody to call in and name my plushie for me that I got from Georgia Tech.
I think it should be Buzz.
I don't want to go with the mascot's name.
That's what its name is, Jared.
I don't care. If you want to help me with that, remember, you can call in at 334-844-9345. You're listening to Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 FM or online at WEGLFM.com.